Hello, everybody. Welcome back to How Come. Exciting episode this week with Anna Lee, who is a co-founder and vice president of engineering at Lioness, which is the coolest fucking thing ever. She and her team built the first smart vibrator that helps improve orgasms through biofeedback data. It's got an app. You can see the data of your orgasms using this toy and the app. Very excited to talk to her about this. And then we're switching things up a little bit. We're going to have the mgrats later. It is a special coming out day. Congratulations. Very pumped for you guys to hear that with our companion, Abby. And you are going to love this episode. I am sick. I've been sick for like a week already. My test said Novid, but apparently there are false negatives, so I'm going to get another one. But I don't know. If it's not COVID, it feels like the flu, and get a flu shot, you guys, because this is no joke. I feel like shit. But so excited for this episode. Thanks to Dipsy for supporting How Come. Dipsy is an audio app full of short, sexy stories. If you're looking to heat things up, there's a story waiting for you. Get an extended 30-day free trial when you go to dipsystories.com/howcome. Thank you to Foria for supporting How Come. Foria designs all-natural sexual intimacy products for women, people with vulvas, and the people who love them. Get 20% off your first order at foriawellness.com/howcome or use promo code HOWCOME at checkout. And a big shout out today to Helix Sleep. Take their 2-minute sleep quiz and they'll match you to a mattress that will give you the best sleep of your life. Find your perfect mattress and up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows at helixsleep.com/howcome. So we're going to kick it off with Anna Lee, and then you are going to hear from Abby in a special coming out day. Congratulations.
How come? How come? How come I can't achieve? How come I can't achieve? I'm rolling up my sleeves. I'm rolling up my sleeves. Oh baby, I believe these guests can help. 'Cause I can't do it by myself. I wanna just...
Welcome, Anna Lee.
Hi.
Yay, I'm so happy to have you here.
I'm so happy to be here.
So Anna is co-founder and vice president of engineering at Lioness, which is so cool. I've literally heard about this technology for the longest time.
Appreciate you.
Obviously, like, we have a lot of people who listen to this podcast because they're trying to have their first orgasm.
Mhm.
So I feel like those people feel left behind. Like, my goal was to do that. I accomplished that episode 6, season 1,
Right.
you know, so they're kind of like chomping at the bit for more information. And I think a lot of people are wondering, like, if they've had them before and they just don't know.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I love your podcast. I went on a full binge tirade just like a couple weeks ago, and it's just been like really, I've been making anyone that sits in my car listen to it with me, so it's been really fun.
Oh my God. Wait, can I ask you something really crazy then?
Yes.
Have you listened from the beginning?
I'm going to be very honest. I started from your newest season. So I started from Margaret Cho. So I was like,
Mhm.
oh, Margaret Cho, I like love her. And I know in the episode you're like, start from episode 1, but I will.
No.
Start over.
We've changed our mind. Don't start from the beginning.
Oh,
I'm just
don't.
curious
Oh.
because it was obviously like a very long learning journey to like get here. So we've just been getting some reviews that are like, it's offensive. And Robin and I are already planning on re-listening to all of them just to be like, how bad is it? You know?
Oh, but it's a learning process. It's unfair to be like, oh, you should have known from the get-go or whatever. I don't know, like whatever the thing is. That's kind of unfortunate.
Totally. But then there's also like the little bit of me that is like, yeah, take some stuff out if it's going to like really hurt someone.
I see.
But as of now, I'm not sure. Anyway, it's fine. This season's great. So happy you like
this
it.
season's great. I will start. I mean, I'm going to start from the beginning because I do want to hear like the overall entire journey of you like going through the whole process. But
Awesome.
so far, I've loved it. I learned so much.
Did you? Oh my God, that's a huge compliment. That's what we call a compliment. But yeah, no, I'm really excited to learn about like you in this space and what you're doing because it's very interesting, and I think our listeners are going to be like thrilled.
Awesome.
So how did you get started in this field? Are you a sexual person yourself?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I always tell people, so we've been in business for about 7 years now. So we started the company around 2015 or so. I never thought I was going to be an entrepreneur or in sex tech specifically at all. I grew up in a super conservative. I grew up in Korea until I was 6 and moved to the US. And I was very much in the concept of like, my parents were like, you have to pursue the American dream for us. Like we sacrificed our life. So I like became a mechanical engineer. I worked at Amazon, building hardware devices like the Kindle and things like that.
Cool.
And it was one of those life's funny instances where I ended up meeting like 2 other people who are my co-founders now. And I was like, I want to help build this smart vibrator. That's so cool. Because one of the biggest things is that I met a founder of a different sex toy company that doesn't exist anymore. Maybe for a reason, but
okay.
Basically,
I was gonna say
like,
why.
It was a guy, and I was like, "How do you know what you're building works for people with vaginas?" And he was like, "There is this industry standard where you put the vibration on your nose, and that's what a clitoris feels like." And I was like, "That's crazy that something so intimately made is made in that way." And so I was very much like, God, there's got to be better ways to like build for people that look like us, that, you know, have vaginas, like all of those. But I actually came from like being really scared of my body well into my mid-20s. I was very much just realizing that I could go on my own journey to understand my own body and just feel more ownership over it. And I would say this has been a 7-year journey of me being like, let's talk about orgasm data. Let's talk about clitorises, vaginas, like all of those things is definitely a learned journey for myself.
Yeah, that's awesome. Can we talk about biofeedback technology?
Yes.
Like, what is that?
So it's definitely something that really doesn't exist currently outside of research labs. But for example, when they do research on physiological sexual responses, aside from doing like fMRI brain scans of like what parts are lighting up, there's some things on like pupil dilation, blood flow. But one of the best ways to really measure what an orgasm physiologically is happening is pelvic floor movement. So how your vaginal muscles or your anal muscles are like squeezing and relaxing involuntarily. So what we're trying to measure is there's a really interesting pattern that happens during the orgasm. So far, we've seen 3 unique patterns that could happen for a person.
Okay.
Both like people with penises, people with vaginas will have a pelvic floor movement that happens during orgasm. So what we're really tracking is that as the indicator for an orgasm.
And so are the 3 types for vulva owners?
So far, that's what we've seen. For like people that have vulvas, we've seen very specific 3 types, which we like to call at our company the ocean wave, avalanche, and volcano. And we always like to teach people this. Yes, because one of the big
I call it my ocean. Did I not invent this? I thought.
Really? Do you really?
Yeah.
I'm an ocean type. We're orgasm twins. I am.
Oh my God, I love that. It's literally like it's like fuck your horoscope. What is your orgasm type?
Yes, that's what I tell people. I actually made a TikTok once being like, hey, are you tired of zodiac signs? You should put your orgasm pattern. And the comments I got were like, that is horrible. Why would you do that? Like, why would you share that? And I was like, I was joking, but I'm an ocean type if you were wondering.
Yeah, I mean, I love an ocean. What are the other 2 types?
Yeah, so avalanche and volcano. So this is showing basically what the graph looks like for your pelvic floor movements. Okay. So the ocean is your rhythmic pelvic floor movement where you're squeezing and relaxing at a really rhythmic pace. The force kind of stays the same. So you're like a nice squeeze, relax, squeeze, relax, squeeze, relax. Avalanche is similar to the ocean, but it starts out much higher in force and then it goes down over time, but you're still doing that squeeze and relax movement. And then the volcano type is your like classic, I think how they show it in movies is the huge explosion of force and then a huge drop down in force, which I always love to tell people because in college, I remember like talking to one of my girlfriends and she was like, this is what my orgasm feels like. And I remember being like, oh my God, I don't think I'm having orgasms. I think I'm doing it wrong. And then having this panic. And now I'm almost positive. I should reach out to her one day, but I'm pretty sure she's a volcano type and I'm an ocean wave. Yeah. And so we were just experiencing it very differently. And I was like, that feels very, like I felt better knowing that I was having orgasms. It just looks different.
Yeah. I mean, because we get so many messages and I'm sure you guys do too about like, have I had one yet?
Totally.
You know? And this technology can basically tell, like I feel like the way that we always like is like you'll know, but then Are there a fair amount of people who like don't know and then find out through using Lioness toys?
Yeah, so I think the coolest things we've seen is seeing like some people are so awesome and they'll like screenshot their own data because otherwise we're not in the business of like looking at people's private data or anything like that.
Okay.
But people will like DM me and screenshot and being like, "Hey, I felt like I was like getting close. Can you take a look?" And I can actually see when it looks like they're getting like pretty aroused to like get to a good moment where there might be an orgasm. And so we start being like, you might be having them, but just like really, really small. And then, or being like, this part, you're really aroused. So maybe kind of amplifying the experience of that arousal that you had and like keep going towards that feeling. So I think it's more like being able to tell people like that they're like their body's normal. It's all physiological responses, and that like you're just on an experience journey. Like it doesn't have to be about the orgasm, but just even being like, oh, I was really aroused at this moment, or this part of the audio erotica I listened to made me really aroused, and like getting those information about yourself.
Audio erotica is so amazing, and it would be fun to do experiments with this too. Just like listening to a story and then seeing how you respond. And, if you guys don't have that type of escape, everybody needs one, and they can be hard to come by. So if you don't, enter Dipsea. Get involved with Dipsea because you can get yourself lost in a world where good things happen and where your pleasure is the only priority. Dipsea is an audio app full of short, sexy stories designed to turn you on. Each Dipsea audio stories features characters that feel like real people and immersive scenarios, so you feel like you're right there. It's all very hot. You can listen to stories about hooking up with your hometown crush that you never made a move on, a coworker that you always had a little thing for, somebody on the internet that you don't even know but you wish you did. Maybe a story that puts you in bed with someone who's telling exactly what they'd like to do to you. That could be fun. Dipsea releases content every week, so there's always more to explore no matter who you are into and what turns you on. I love Dipsea. It is so great when you need company, and I often need company. And I'll just put in my little Dipsea. It'll make me feel good on days that I've been feeling down. They also have wellness sessions and sensual bedtime stories and soundscapes to help you relax before you drift off, which has been very helpful to me too, because sleeping has been so hard for me lately, especially with this fucking cold. But yeah, I love Dipsea, and I think you guys will like it too, whether it's for sexy sex or sleepy sleep. Dipsea is a great way to get in the mood, spark your imagination, or just connect with yourself. So for listeners of the show, Dipsea is offering an extended 30-day free trial when you go to dipseastories.com/howcome. That is 30 days of full access for free when you go to dipseastories.com/howcome. And yeah, I need those soundscapes for sure because I have been having just terrible sleeps. Because I'm sick, but also because I've been staying with my dad, who you guys got to meet on the last episode, and I've been staying here since we recorded. I got sick, and he's been taking care of me. But the mattress that I have at this house, like in me and Charlotte's childhood bedroom, which I redid when I like moved back in after college, classic me, moving in with my parents or some parents, I have this one bed, and then we have a pull-out sofa mattress that I had put in case like Charlotte stayed over, whatever, as if we don't sleep in the sit bed. But the mattress on the bed is so bad that I've been sleeping on the pull-out, which is better, but still not my helix, and I'm missing my helix, but I'm not going to go back to Jersey and infect a whole house of people. So I'm just going to wax poetic about it and tell you why I love my Helix sleep mattress so much. Whenever I'm stressed, whenever I feel down, there's my Helix just for me. And if you're not able to sleep because of your love life, your woes, today's politics, any other drama in your life, sleeping on a terrible mattress is terrible. Who wants to do that? You spend so much of your life sleeping, and you deserve better than a saggy, horrible mattress or a pull-out sofa. So give yourself an upgrade. There's nobody on the planet like you, so why would you buy a generic mattress built for everyone else? Just go to helixsleep.com/howcome, take their 2-minute sleep quiz, and they'll match you to a customized mattress that will give you the best sleep of your life. Everyone is unique, and Helix knows that, so they have several different mattress models to choose from. They have soft, medium, and firm mattresses. Mattress is great for cooling you down if you sleep hot, and even a Helix Plus mattress for plus size folks. I took the Helix quiz and I was matched with the Helix Sleep Midnight because I wanted something that was not going to hurt my back at night. Actually, this mattress that's in this room that I'm refusing to sleep on this week is one that I talk about all the time. It was like the mistake. I thought I wanted something like really squishy, and it's a soft mattress, which like, I don't know, it's got like a soft top or something, but it makes me sweaty. It sags in too hard. My back hurts. And these are things that I could not deduce just from laying on it once, but I could do it on my Helix Sleep quiz because they were like, hey, how do you sleep? On your side? Are you sweaty? Does your back hurt in the morning? All of these questions. And they matched me with the perfect mattress for me. And it'll just tell you what you need when sometimes you don't know. So if you're looking for a mattress, you take the quiz, you order the mattress that you're matched with, and the mattress comes right to your door, shipped for free. You don't even need to go to a mattress store again. And Helix is awesome. It was awarded the #1 best overall mattress pick of 2020 by GQ and Wired magazine. And they have a 10-year warranty. And so you can try it out for 100 nights risk-free. They'll even pick it up for you if you don't like it, but you will. Like, you'll just love it. I just love it. When I'm not with mine, I just miss it so much. And you know what? I might get one for my dad too, because his mattress is so bad. I went in his room and it's got like a divot where he's been sleeping, because I think it's like a 20-year-old mattress. And it's like, dude, you work so hard. And I'm sure a lot of you out there too. It's like, you work so hard. Treat yourself better. So right now, Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/howcome. You guys know that we are obsessed with it. So you can get pillows now for free with your mattress. There hasn't been a better time to get yourself a Helix. So that is helixsleep.com/howcome for up to $200 off your mattress and 2 free pillows. Do it. Let's get back to this interview. So what are the different things that like you guys have tested?
Oh, so I've in the 7 years, I think we've done all sorts of fun ones. My favorite highlights would be like cannabis stuff. There's also weed lubricant. If you're in a state that's like, or an area that's legal, it's pretty, I would say like, it's my #1 go-to, like to get really relaxed and just very intensified in feelings. Coffee actually does a really good job for me of like getting really like, it's like more intense orgasms for me, because I guess I'm just more caffeinated. And just some other really interesting things to know is that we actually have an athlete who's a Lioness user, and she had a concussion during her sport. And after the concussion, you can see how it flatlined her orgasm data. So she had a volcano type, and you could actually see it flatline. And she was like, I think the concussion might be affecting my arousal. And we also just like started looking into research. And there are some research out there that says traumatic brain injuries could make you not have orgasms or as intense, or might inhibit from you being able to do it. And so she started getting physical therapy over the year, and you can actually see her orgasm come back to normal as kind of the year went by in physical therapy.
Whoa, that's wild.
It's crazy. Like, it's things that you would never realize. I think that's like why we're so such advocates of like, your body is completely interconnected. Like, things that you might not even realize might be affecting your pleasure arousal. Like, those all could have effects. So I think it's never a question of like, what's wrong with me, but it's more like getting in tune with your body of like, oh, I haven't been sleeping as much, or I'm really stressed, or I changed medications, and like just knowing that there's different factors that could be affecting it.
But like, you would have to take inventory of what's going on and what's different.
Yeah, so we have so actually the Lioness is app enabled, so it actually pairs to our Lioness app, so you get all your data on there. And so we actually encourage people to use it as like a journal entry, because one of the big things I think sex therapists will tell you is to like basically keep a sex journal of like, this is what worked for me, this was what didn't. So in the same way, we're like, here's your biofeedback data, and on there you can add notes or tags, star ratings to really understand, because it is very much like if you just do it once on the app, you'll be like, what do I do with this graph? But as you have, like for me, like I have hundreds, right? And you start looking at like, oh, like this year, it's starting to take much longer for me to have an orgasm. And then just you're starting to kind of put little pieces and like a puzzle piece together of like what's changing, what might be like different for you. And we also just released like a hotspot algorithm that's like an AI. So it kind of will tell you where they think that you've had really like high arousal moments and like potentially an orgasm, and it'll show you like on a heat map kind of thing, being like this part's really red because it's I think this is where
It's
you're
like
the most
you were
aroused.
watching TikTok at this moment.
Which TikToks are you on? Because there's no TikToks that make me
Oh my
turned on.
God. I have a very diverse For You page. It is sad, it is horny, it is cute. It's confusing.
Oh, I'm always confused by my TikTok.
My likes are open if anybody wants to go see. It's a fucking weird.
Oh,
It's very vulnerable of me to do that.
I know.
But so there's one main Lioness toy,
Yes,
right?
and it's a rapid style.
And so it goes in vaginally.
Yes, so it would go in vaginally and then a little clitoral nub. But if you want to use it anally, which I have to attest to that it works.
I was going to ask. Yeah. Okay.
You can insert it anally no matter what body you have. And then I would say the clitoral nub, I put it on like, is it called like the perineum area? So for people with penises, we also say like that area, or you can just turn the vibration off if you don't want like vibration happening. But yeah, it totally works. It'll measure the exact same data.
Yeah, it could just be like a plug, and it's a scientist there.
Oh yes.
So I could potentially, because I'm like all about air pulse toys. So what I would probably do is like turn it in, maybe even backwards, and then use the suction on the front and then get my data while that's happening.
Yeah. And I will like little humble brag ourselves of like, because we're women-owned company, like one of the big things is like, okay, like even aside from being smart, like how do we make it a good vibrator that we've always wanted? And so one of the things is we made the nub really flexible so you can move it away or you can like fit more body types. We have like a travel lock. So because my other co-founders had it, her vibrators like go off at TSA before. So she's like, I never want that to happen.
And then you have to like go through your whole bag.
I personally love it. I love if TSA is like, why do you have 3 vibrators or 6 vibrators in your bag? I'm like, you want to look at all of them.
I was making a joke because like when I flew back from Portland to New York this year, like it was the first time that weed is legal in both places. So I was like, okay, weed is legal. My sex toys aren't dick shaped. Like I'm not nervous about either of these. Like, should I just put an aerosol can in my carry-on just to feel something?
Like it's not taboo enough.
It's not taboo enough anymore. It's like boring.
Wait, isn't weed on a federal level? You still can't fly with it, can you?
I've been doing it and nobody cares.
Okay. Good, noted. Really good to know.
Yeah. Like not even in a sly way anymore. I've just been like,
oh, I've been too much of a scaredy cat and it's time for me to break out of it a little.
Yeah, but now I don't want to like what if something happens to you and it's my fault?
No, it'll be fine. I'm gonna bring it as a lube. I'm gonna bring it as a weed lube, so it's harder to explain, and they'll be freaked out by it.
But under 4 fluid ounces. Otherwise, they'll make you drink half of it. Or
I will do it. That stuff is expensive.
I haven't tried like full weed lube yet, but we're big fans of CBD lube. Specifically, Foria. And if you guys don't know about Foria, Anna, I don't know if you know about Foria, but Foria designs all-natural sexual intimacy products for women, people with vulvas, and the people who love them. We talk about this all the time, that 80% of women and people with vulvas don't reach orgasm through sex or penetration alone, and many people with vulvas experience sexual pain or discomfort, and Foria's products are amazing for that because they make you feel more relaxed, they enhance arousal, they increase sexual pleasure, they help you achieve bigger and better and more memorable orgasms, maybe ones you can track with data. And their formulas come in a variety of formats to meet your needs. Topical oils for arousal, pleasure, and relief, daily tonics for balance and well-being, suppositories for localized benefits, and bath salts for the in-the-moment relaxation. And what's good for nature is what's good for our bodies, which is why Foria's products are always organic, plant-based, and sustainably sourced, which we love. Each of their unique lines combines the benefits of broad-spectrum CBD from USDA organic certified and regeneratively grown hemp with organic and sustainably grown plant extracts that enhance and amplify CBD's effects. Foria's Intimacy line also uses all-natural botanicals like kava to make sex more comfy by relieving tension and discomfort. Sexual pleasure is self-care, as we know. It supports sleep quality, it boosts your mood, enhances your immune system, and it connects us to our bodies. I love Foria so much. I love the body oil. Like I said, I like to drip it all over my body, rub myself, kind of guide where it can be dripped instead of spit. Nobody wants to be spit on, but from a little dropper, just drip down your back into your butt crack, into your jaw. Yum. I also like, I know that this isn't like a selling point of theirs, but it makes my pubes feel softer. Like I have the most wiry pubes. And it makes me feel sexier. Truly. Like sometimes I get stopped up in the moment that I'm like, my pubes are so wiry. But this makes me feel better. But also just having a nice lube that you know works and you know isn't going to dry up mid-session or anything. And you can also use as a body massage oil, like, and rub on your titties and rub on your butt and just rub all over your wiry pubes. I love it. And you guys will love it too. So you can get 20% off your first order at foriawellness.com/howcome or use promo code howcome at checkout. So that is Foria, Foria, wellness.com/howcome for 20% off your first order. Try out all the stuff. It's so fun.
Highly recommend it.
Highly recommend.
Highly.
So when you put, or you can put it into a butt. So have you gotten data for penis owners from it as well?
So we have customers that have penises or prefer just anal method of it. So it definitely we've had people have been nice enough to share that data too, because I'm really curious if it looks any different or the same. So yeah, we have blog posts. I put some TikToks out of like showing the two data, and they look really similar, all because everyone has pelvic floor movements. I've DP'd myself before to prove that they're the exact same data, so you could use it exactly whatever way you want to use it.
So do they have the same 3 different types as well, or no?
I will say from the ones that are been like shared to me with permission, I've only actually seen ocean wave types on people with penises. I would love, we're always like, I would love to be proven wrong. It's the same way for patterns. We haven't seen anyone jump from one pattern to another. Like, you're not an ocean wave one day and then you're like, oh, I hooked up with this person and I'm in Volcano. We haven't seen that.
Interesting.
But would love to be proven wrong.
Well, because I feel like sometimes it does feel different. I need to get mine. I'm dying to know about my data.
Yes, screenshot it, send it to me.
But I would 100%. I would anticipate, or I would have thought that they would have volcanoes.
Yeah, that is true. But I guess I will say like ocean wave, like even in research have been well recorded as like, so there's some actually arguments in the research field of what an orgasm would look like. And a lot of them will say like the only one they would consider as an actual orgasm is the ocean wave type. We are in a different kind of like, well, I think there's just more ways, especially there's just so many people
is valid.
In the world. Yeah. And there's so many people, we can't say like there's only one. That'd be really hard to, I think.
And if somebody is like having a good feeling that's taking over that they deem an orgasm, like why would you not take that data?
Yeah, being like, no, you're wrong. Like, you're not having an orgasm.
Yeah. Sorry. Oh my God. I can't believe how sick I am right now.
Oh no.
Please don't hate me.
No, oh my gosh. I feel terrible.
No, it's like, it's fine. I forgot about the common cold because we've just been inside and fine, or like it's like fine or COVID, and now I'm like, this.
Yeah.
Like, this sucks.
I caught a cold a couple weeks ago, and I was like, am I dying? And I took, I think, a COVID test like 4 times to just make sure.
I've been like crying to both of my parents. I feel like I'm like 14. I'm like still sick today. My mom's like, make some tea, take a shower.
You're like, can you make the tea?
Yeah. I'm like, where are you? Do you have a favorite feature from the app?
Ooh, favorite feature. My favorite feature is actually what we launched during the pandemic, which was the research platform. And it really came from us being like, the whole point of this is that there's not enough research in female sexual wellness or sexual function.
Yeah.
Mainly due to the stigma. And so we were like, oh my God, there's so much potential in making better research out there. And so we created a research platform on our app so you can actually opt in. And that's the only time we'll share your data.
Unreal.
And so we'll plug you with the researcher being like, hey, I want to do this study on, let's say, like menopausal women and like sexual function. And so if you opt in, it's the one time we'll connect you to that researcher and share your data with them so that they can actually launch research papers and research studies through that platform. So that's maybe my favorite feature we've kind of launched so far.
That's so good. You're like your Masters and Johnson, only like
the modern day.
Yeah, the modern day and like more precise.
Hope that's the hope. Like we really came like actually the cool thing about our team is I think everyone came from pretty conservative families. Like we all did not grow up being like, let's talk about sex. I had great sex education. So I think really we're all just trying to understand ourselves and then also just being like, man, this is bullshit. Like how little we're left with information. I think all of us has stories of going to OBGYNs and being like, when I have sex, like this hurts, this doesn't feel right. What's wrong with me? And they're always like, we have no idea. Like everybody's body's different. And you're like, that's not an answer. So
totally.
We just want to give people better answers.
That was one of the things that like scared me off or just like delayed my process of even trying to have an orgasm was like there's a very common answer is more complicated. And like when it stops there, it sounds like, well, if it's more complicated, then it's not worth looking into. And that's so like it's so worth looking into because it's such a big payoff.
Definitely.
And it does suck. It does suck, but it's interesting that there's so many types and like probably the conversations going on before you guys were like, with you and your friend where you're like, oh, I don't think she's actually having orgasms. And it's like, no, it's just like a different type.
Yeah.
Like
honestly, it's 100%. I think we're just left so much to like having to Google for things. And that's a competition of like, which article did the best being really spicy. So it's not always 100% accurate either. And so the whole message is like, everybody's body is normal. It's just that it probably functions differently than whoever you've read in the Glamour article or, you know, whatever those articles and things like that. But just giving people like, here's what I'm baselined at. This is how long it takes me to have an orgasm. This is what feels pleasurable for me. And just kind of basing it on that versus like, good luck. Like,
totally.
You're like trying to have this thing, good luck. It's very complicated kind of thing.
Yeah, no, and it's also cool. I'm thinking about like people who are having sex with new partners, like they could like maybe give them their research and be like, hey, just so you know, it takes 15 minutes. I'm not joking. Like, or like whatever it is.
Yes. We've had a couple actually who like, she literally screenshotted her data being like, by myself, it takes me 30 minutes to have an orgasm. So please understand when I'm asking for longer foreplay, I'm not saying you suck. I'm saying that it just takes me a lot of time. And I think that's totally like a fun way to prove it.
And while you should believe people when they say it anyway.
True, very true.
We did our own research. But yeah, I think there's a feature that's like compare 3 sessions that I think is really interesting where it's like, okay, do alone, do with a partner or like something else, or like do it with like a bunch of different people. Like you could do so many things.
Yes, I think we've actually had a big influx in like the swinger community also being like, this is so interesting. Would love for this to be a part of it. And so that's been really fun for us to like really learn more about that world and just like just seeing how people get really creative with it. I think just generally like how creative people have been on how they want to use the Lioness has made me super happy. We have a musician, her name is Vaughn, and she actually uses her orgasm data and transforms it into waveforms, and then she makes beats out of it, which I think is just like,
Unreal.
what the heck? Yeah, really cool.
Like you can fuck to music, or you can fuck to music that's fucking.
Yes. Oh my God. Can I go on a tangent about music, by the way?
Please.
Because I've been reading a lot of research papers lately on like sex and just all sorts of things. And I recently came across a research paper on like what things people can do in a relationship that will make them more likely to have an orgasm. Music was actually rated very low on that one, being like most women were like, it sucks to have music on. And I was really surprised because that's like movie-esque.
No, it's something I think that like it fucked me up in one of my early assignments. I was supposed to just masturbate for 30 minutes. I think it was my first assignment. And right, Rob?
The first one was just running your hand over the outside of your panties, like half an hour, just yourself.
But for a half an hour, right. And that's all I was supposed to do. But I put music on because I thought it would put me in the mood. But it made me cry. And but also, no, I think that's a thing where it's like you're expected to like think music's going to like move you. But it's like, what if you're not in rhythm with the music and then you feel pressured to be like, then it's like just feels like you're doing something wrong.
Yes. And actually yesterday I read another research paper saying people that have their cortisol levels, so like your stress hormones, when they see like anything like sex related or like arousing, some people like their cortisol level rises and like their stress level. And they're saying those people actually have harder times having like a satisfying like sexual function, orgasms, things like that. And so it was like this whole thing of like, basically the point is when you're stressed about something, usually about sex, or do I look okay during this, like while we're having sex, or am I going to have an orgasm? Like that all will actually add to not being able to do it. So fun facts, fun research.
Yeah, no, I mean, I used to be such a dick to an ex of mine because he would be like, if I'm stressed, I'm just not there. Like it's hard for me. And I'd be like, it's not stress. You just don't like me. And he could be like, look at my research.
Yeah. That's when he texted me. He's like, I need you to send the link of that research study again. Yeah. That's so good.
One of the other features you were saying, like people get really creative with it, but there's like an actual orgasm feature where you can turn your orgasm into art.
Yeah.
What does that look like?
Yeah, that's a good question. So that really stemmed from, so I will say, as I think as much as culture has shifted in feeling more ability to talk about sex, orgasms, especially female masturbation and pleasure, we're banned from almost, every advertising platform, Facebook, Instagram. I'm constantly get the 1 week, 1 month ban on TikTok.
It sucks.
And it's really because it's still a really taboo thing. And so we were that came from us being like, what are creative ways to either have people want to share their data or like on social media, or just like have new ways to visualize it beyond a graph, because graphs aren't always super fun for a lot of people.
Not sexy sometimes.
And so we're like, oh, maybe we should do like this orgasm thing where it's more like visual of like the movement you're doing. Like, so we have an accelerometer and gyroscope in there, so if you're like thrusting it a lot or moving it a lot, you'll see that in the orgasm if you change the vibration. So we just wanted to see like if there's a cooler way to visualize it and then put it into places where people will be like, what is this? And then you realize it's an orgasm, and just like figuring out different ways to visualize it. So yeah, that was a really fun project of ours. I definitely shout out to our software team who figured that out, because I was very conceptually like, what if there's like movement and like, and they like were like, okay, this is how I think we should make it. But that's still definitely like a continuing work in progress, and would love to figure out more ways to like visualize an orgasm.
No, it's so I would like love to have my orgasm like on a wall and then somebody would be like,
Right?
"Oh my God, I love that art." And I'd be like, "That's my orgasm." And they'd be
Yeah,
like,
like,
"What?" And I'd be like, "The rings are my
yes.
movement and the circle represents my muscle squeezing." And they'd be like, "Oh, I feel like I just had sex with you."
Yes, there's nothing that makes me happier than when I do like talks or presentations and I will put my orgasm data up and I'll tell everyone like this is my orgasm. Like look everyone look at it. So
That's unreal. It's like you're like raising money and you're like, "And here's the proof. It's come."
that's true. I might do that next time I go into an investor's office being like, this is my orgasm. Everyone look at it, look me in the eyes, like everyone get comfortable with it because it's gonna be the entire talk. But yeah.
Do you remember your first orgasm?
I do. I was in middle school and
Cool.
it was very much one of those things where, you know, in like back, I don't know, back then, like the internet was really new. And I remember my
Mhm.
friend being like, I found this really cool website, we should look at it. And it was all words. So it was actually like people what is it, like
Like
self-submitting
erotica?
eroticas.
Yeah.
But it was like a lot on like masturbation specific. And
Mhm.
so I had no idea what I was like really reading, but then I was like, this makes me feel good. And I
Some kind of
remember,
way. Yeah.
yeah, like some kind of way, but I can't tell what it means, what it is. But I remember actually like really just one of them really resonated with me and I like copied exactly what they wrote on myself. So it was like Home Alone and like middle school, whatever, like touching my clitoris and like big, like,
Mhm.
you know, going in circular motions. And then I like definitely had my first orgasm. And I just remember being like, this feels so good. How do I do this again? And then you kind of get into this, you know, as like a young kid being like, let me keep trying, let me do it,
Yeah.
like try it every
Yeah.
day. Oh, like my parents aren't home for an hour, like let me do it again kind of thing. So
Unreal. Yeah. I love when people just like accidentally stumble into masturbating and are successful.
yeah, because I definitely came from like nobody told me about it, or like I didn't even understand what, you know, like the vagina looked like or vulva looked like. So I was very like confused, but I definitely was like, all I knew that it was that it felt good. And I think that's like a tone that's carried on for my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. I'm like currently so jealous of I'm jealous of the people that are going to be able to get a lioness, like maybe if they've not had a first orgasm and have a record or an artgasm of
Oh,
their first orgasm.
that's very true. Oh my gosh, whoever that is, if they're willing, please
Like
share it.
literally, please share with both of us.
Yes.
We like fuck like a regular everyday artgasm, but like your first orgasm on it, like if you guys are out there and you haven't come yet, please buy this and then buy one of the suction toys that I recommend and try all the things. And then it's such good memorabilia.
That's really beautiful, honestly. You could probably make it into like a necklace or something, you know, like the little wave, like what the wave looks
Yeah.
like. That'd be so gorgeous. If you want an affiliate discount
I was
code,
gonna say we
happy to
should.
do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Do you
No,
have a
that would
code
be
that you
fun.
usually use?
How come?
Okay. Like CUM, right?
Like CUM. So
Well, I'm really,
cute.
really excited. My DMs are open.
I feel like this is like telling somebody about like a fantastic show, and I'm just like, I wish I could relive this with you. But like, have fun.
Yeah. We actually, I will also say, like, really, it's for like all ages, you know, as long as
Mhm.
you're in the legal age. But one of my favorite like customer response that we've ever gotten emailed was a person in her 70s. And she was like, oh, I just bought a Lioness. And this is when we first launched our product. So we were also very new. And she
Yeah.
was like, I just bought a Lioness. And she's like, I just had my first orgasm. And she was like so excited. And I was like, I think that was like probably the thing that really solidified like anytime we were having a bad day, I was like, we do it for those people, like even in
Yeah.
their 70s, like getting
Yeah.
orgasms. So
There are so many people who like they've gone such a long time never having an orgasm, and I'm like, first of all, congratulations on not murdering anyone.
that's all true.
Like, and second of all, like, we gotta help. Like, you've gone long enough, and like, Yeah, it's crazy to me that back in the day, like people would just like pop out kids without ever having an orgasm.
Yeah, truly, truly.
Like no wonder all the women were hysterical,
Oh, don't even get me started on
quote
that whole.
unquote. Yeah.
It's really set the tone, I think, of culture, even to this day, of just people being like, women's bodies are really complicated. No one really knows how it works. And it's like, okay, that's not true, but
That can't just be the answer to stuff.
yes, it's
you
so
know?
frustrating.
And I feel like in a way like that thinking happens like whether it's like people who learn differently or like people who need other accommodations like for like wheelchairs or whatever. It's like, but not everybody needs that, so you don't like want to do, and it's like, but some people do.
Right,
so like
right.
make stuff that helps people.
Yeah.
Can you use the Lioness orgasm tracking in conjunction with another toy? Like, I mean, I already said yes with a suction toy, but then there's another answer here and I don't know how to get to it gracefully.
Yeah, so as long as there's it's the number one thing is that the Lioness needs to be inserted, which also was a really fun thing when we were first developing our product, because we were like, where do we put the sensors that'll capture the muscle movements, and how big should the product actually be? And it was like, it's again one of those things, like everyone has a different preference of size and like all of that. And so we were like constantly testing different sizes with people. But the number one thing is it needs to be inserted to the space where the sensors are. You can see it on the shaft. There's like little two circles that are like protruding out. So as long as that is inserted into somewhere that's measuring your pelvic floor, like it'll work. So anything, because a lot of people will do like clitoral stimulation for orgasms, like you can use whatever you want on top, or a partner or anything like that.
But not a penis. Oh, I guess you could put it in your butt.
Yeah, if you're like into double penetration, I think definitely a good place to do it.
Yes. And
or
who's not?
Yeah.
No.
Or just like oral. If you're like, I think it's a good way to get them to be like going down on you while you have it in there, just like a fun experiment.
I forget about oral sometimes.
No, don't forget about oral.
No. What's been like your favorite like part of working in the sex space?
That's a good question. I would say, again, because I never thought I was gonna end up in this industry, it's been super fun just learning, I think, just everything that has to do with the industry. I would say like when we started 7 years ago, it was very old school. Like the term sex tech didn't really exist. And so we really came in from like being really scared of investors, being like, what are they going to think about us? Maybe we should come in more from like that we're health and like we're doing like health things. But then now it's become like we've definitely are having so much more fun with it. And we like, we will go into investors' offices being like, here's the vibrator, like please touch it, please like turn it on, like feel the vibration, like all of that. And I think
feel the vibration.
I should play that song in the background.
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
But I think just us having more fun with it, because otherwise it's a lot to be like, there's so many people being like, this is a pornographic company, no, you can't do advertisements with us, no, you can't be in the store. So I think we could make that feel like horrible, being like, God, this culture is not moving forward. But at the same time, we're just like, dude, let's have fun with it. Like, let's do things like where we have a TV where we're just playing orgasm, and then only when people ask, we'll be like, this is an orgasm. And like, we just have a lot of fun with it. And I think my team has just been super stellar to just be working with, but to have fun.
Yeah, I was going to say, as annoying as it is with advertising, like it's been really cool, at least for us, to see like how robust the space has become.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot more people making a lot more stuff, and just like more options means like better times for everyone. And like any toy, not any, but most toys, if you don't need, you can always put it in your butt. Any toy you can test out and get different data and see like how it's affecting you.
Definitely.
And like, then write it in the notes. Yeah.
Yes. Like what works for you. We've definitely done it with like a lot of the sex toys we've had like come through our office. And then and just like things that we don't really even think would have an effect. I think coffee especially was like a very one for me that I was like, if I drink coffee every day, I don't think that's going to really do anything. Or like in the morning versus nighttime.
Yep.
Different partners. Like it's such a fun,
Or
like,
like
you get really
after
curious.
edging, or like
Yes.
maybe like not having an orgasm for a few days and seeing if it like you can like build up.
Definitely.
I feel like this is one of those things that's going to like inspire me to like be more active again, which is
Yes.
really exciting because it's just like, oh, I love data, you know? It's cool to be like, oh, I was depressed on this day, but I had the biggest orgasm ever, you know?
Yes.
Very cool. Or like
Finding silver linings.
finding silver linings, exactly. Okay. You're so great. This is so fun.
I'm so grateful that like you wanted me on. Like it's such a cool thing you're doing. I again
Oh my
in the
God.
total understanding of that the space is freaking hard because there's so many people that won't let you do like, you know, whatever. They're like, oh, it's sex stuff. Like you're going to get demonetized, just all sorts of stuff. So I think anywhere you can give people communities to like have conversations or feel normal, I think is like so important because people are like left to be like, oh, good luck on your own. Like there's no communities really. So love what you're doing.
I love what you're doing. No, I think it's like, it's so important. And like I told Robin, and I think I told the companions this story, but like before I had ever had an orgasm, I like was trying to do it with an ex and it wasn't working. And I thought I knew it wasn't working, but he would like suggest things to me that he's like, well, what if you just had one and you didn't know? Or like, what if you've just been having them, you have them so much that you don't even realize or whatever. And then like would be like, oh, well, you have a rash on your chest. Like that means you came or whatever. And now you can be like, no, like I have a device that like can tell me.
Yeah, I think it's the most fun is just like you get really creative. Like sometimes I'm like, I'm not even in the mood to masturbate, but I'm like, I'm curious what it would look like right now. I don't know. You just get kind of like curious about your own body at all times, which I think is super fun. And it just gives people like, sometimes it's like a non-sexy way to just feel good about your body of being like, here's just data. Like you can look at my data all you want. Or sometimes I'll like screenshot it and like send it to a significant other being like, oh, like I just used the Lioness kind of thing. So yeah, I think it's just like, just owning self-pleasure, I think is always just a good time.
Before we wrap up, has working in sex like helped your dating life as well? Like, is it good at vetting people who are good at sex or?
Not so much good at sex. I think it's really good at vetting people that I don't give time to, because sometimes people get really weird if they know what I do. Like they get super weird about it, or like don't know how to navigate it, and they'll make like weird comments. And so I've had like people who were like embarrassed of what I did, and so they're like, please don't tell my friends what you do. And I was like, immediately like, do not talk to me ever again. So it's good at vetting, I think, people who are like, the ones that are like super encouraging of what I do, or like super happy and like proud of what I do, I think are like easy identifiers of like, those are people probably you're gonna have good sex with, because they're like open to asking questions, like having communication and all of that.
They're further along in the learning journey. And
True.
Like sometimes you're down, if somebody's really worth it, you'll be like, okay, like I'll take you on this. But isn't it better to just have someone who already like gets that female or like vulval orgasms are important?
Yes. Yeah. It's definitely not like I'm like, show me exactly where the Skene's gland is like before I can date you. But yeah, I think it's more just like the willingness to have conversations about it and feel like okay, and not like, oh, I'm ruining your ego. Or a lot of people be like, oh, like sex toys like replace men. Like I don't let sex toys come in the bedroom. I'm always like, okay, thank you.
I'm always like, do you like compete with your dishwasher too? Because like that's a machine that makes things easier.
That's I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna borrow that line.
Please do. Yeah. This has been so much fun meeting you and talking to you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And yeah, please feel free to screenshot your data if you feel comfortable anytime. I would love to read it like a fortune
Yes.
teller.
Yes. Oh my God. I need to see them too. I cannot wait to try so many new
Awesome.
things. Where can everybody find you online and the product and all that stuff?
Yeah, so our company is called Lioness, like the female lion.
Mhm.
Or our website is lioness.io. All our social media is Lioness Health.
Mhm.
I also have my personal account where I'm doing like series, like things I've learned about sex in the past 7 years. So my Instagram is Anna is average, and then my TikTok, which I'm more active on, is Anna the average.
Amazing. Anna Lee, I have to ask you this question after a sexual experience. Did you finish?
I always finish.
Amazing.
Did you finish?
I did. Thank you so much for asking. And thank you so much for coming. Oh my God. Hold on. I hate this. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. If sometimes they ask us questions after the fact, would you be open to coming back for Patreon?
Definitely. Happy
Unreal.
to.
You're doing the Lord's work.
Awesome. Yeah, so let me set up this
Yeah.
affiliate account. Yeah, feel free to push
Amazing.
it as much as you want. I can't remember exactly what the discount. I think it's like 15% or like I forgot if we get
Unreal.
$20 off, something like that. But I will definitely set
Perfect.
that up and then email you. And then I will also ask, but send me both your mailing addresses and whether you want a gray one or a purple one, and I will get those out.
Yay. So excited.
It's insane.
Thank you so much.
I'm obsessed. I downloaded the app yesterday. I don't even have the toy. I was like, I just want to look.
You know what? So I will tell you the secret on that app. Okay, so if you're on the login screen, if you tap here, right here, a demo button will pop out, and then you can go into the demo account and look at all
Amazing. I know what I'm doing this afternoon.
Yes. Awesome.
That's
Okay,
great.
we'll definitely keep in touch, and then I'll shoot you that email right now.
Thank you so much.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Okay, so you hear that? If you want a discount off Lioness toys, use promo code HowCome. Amazing. We love Anna. That was so fun. Also, okay, you know in the beginning how I was like, did you listen to the first season? It's because, and I kind of alluded to this last episode, but I want to talk about it more on this one, that we've been getting bad reviews. And I don't just mean like bad reviews, like I was like embarrassed to say what they said in front of Anna, but I'm going to say it to you guys. And Anna, if you're listening, it's embarrassing. But in the last week, we've gotten 2 reviews, one from US, one from Canada. The US one said, transphobic and homophobic podcast, my God, educate yourself. And then the Canada review, the body of the review was pretty long, and the subject was, I hope they've gotten better at LGBTQ representation, which, like that, the subject made me laugh a little because I was like, hi, I just didn't know about me then. But the body of it concerned me because the person said that they were really enjoying the podcast until our episode with Jess Tom and Ian Fidance, and they were really put off by the way that I was interviewing and that they didn't feel that I gave Jess enough airtime or enough respect for their opinions. And I truly feel very bad if that is the case. And like I said, Robin and I are going to organize these, like maybe even like listening parties with you guys so that like we can re-listen and all cringe together at whatever we fucked up on. But yeah, I'm really, really sorry if any of my internalized anything came out in a bad way. I am going to go back and maybe even edit some episodes. I'm still not sure because I do think the learning process is important, but anything that really, really hurts somebody, I really don't want out there. But I do think I have learned a lot. I know that you guys are like listening right now being like, yeah, we know, you don't have to convince us. The thing I'm trying to convince you of is if you haven't written a review, it would be really meaningful to us, meaningful to me, because yes, it is hard to get these reviews. It's important because I do really value what people are saying. But I just want other people to know that it is a journey and that you know, maybe they would enjoy season 4. Maybe this person, like, they should not have quit. And maybe if there were other reviews being like, we love the growth from season 1 to season 4 is incredible, or just like, start on season 4, it's so good, or like, I don't know, any of your reviews would be so helpful. We don't normally ask for them. I'm trying not to like be too in the numbers and stuff, but it was coming out day this week, and you know, I came out again with my pronouns and with bisexuality, and it means a lot to me. So I did kind of like laugh that I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm being called homophobic and transphobic, when like also the same week that like Chappelle's special came out, and I honestly, I cannot give you a review yet because I hadn't watched it. But he calls himself a TERF, and I'm like, really? I'm getting these reviews this week too? Like, I expect it from him, but not me. Anyway, it would be really helpful if you guys rated, reviewed, subscribed, but like seriously, review, and subscribe, because we need ya, and we know that a lot of you are on board with us, but we need you to be just a teeny bit more vocal, you know, just the way you want somebody to be in bed with you, just a teeny bit more vocal. But yeah, we are celebrating National Coming Out Day. We spent it with our companion, Abby, whose pronouns are she, they. And Abby tells us this amazing first time congratulations that I'm just so excited for you guys to hear. So buckle up, strap it in, strap it on, and get pumped, because this one's so cutie. Ooh, hi.
Oh, hey.
How are you?
Doing very good. I just got out of work, so I'm feeling pretty hopeful for the rest of my night. So
this is going to be so fun. I'm so excited to hear about this congrats, because it is one of the first of its kind on this podcast, and it's one that I know a lot of people want to do. So welcome, Abby, and congratulations.
Thank you.
For the first time ever, Abby gave a woman an orgasm. You ready to tell us about it?
I am ready to tell you about it.
Okay,
so I matched with this girl on Tinder 3-ish months ago, and we've been seeing each other casually on and off, and we hung. It was like our 4th or 5th time hanging out and getting down and
busy.
dirty, and
Yeah.
I brought my bag with me because I was just like, that might be a good idea.
Bag of toys?
My bag of toys. Yes, my bag of toys with me.
Bag of tricks, yeah.
Bag of tricks, yes. And we were like making out, going at it, and I was like, I brought something with me. Would you mind if I used this thing? And I pulled out my my perfect match. And she was
vibrations,
like,
promo code how come, hey.
Yes. And used the toy, did the thing. Applied it around the area, and it was like maybe
just on clit, not in.
I was using my fingers, and that.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And so it was like maybe a minute or two in, and she was just like, "I'm gonna need you to trim that up a little bit," because I was on the lowest setting, and I put it on the higher setting, and it was like very shortly after that, she was shaking.
She was coming,
and she was like, "Oh, you can stop now. And I was like, "Okay." And I took up my hand. I was like, all that secretion.
Spider-Man.
Yes, I was just like,
Love it.
I pulled the famous Remy Casimir line. Did you just finish? Yes, and she's like, "That I did."
It was very confrontational coming.
Yes.
Did you just finish?
I was like, "Did you just finish?"
Yeah, I did.
Because I've had sex with like three women before, and I haven't yet to make one of them come because I'm still fairly new. I'm still fairly new to the whole being out and queer and like actually like exploring my sexuality and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like
so fun.
I was very proud of myself. Like it was a huge ego boost.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you. Wait, so I have a question because you wrote me that this is your first time topping someone.
Yes.
Do you consider topping like being the one to do the stuff? Like what does topping even Mean.
I let her be a pillow princess.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I was like on my period, so I was like not really I was like, I don't want you to do anything to me, but I want to do this stuff to you.
Yeah.
Because I'm normally a switch. With my 3 other ones, like I was like the one first receiving and then giving.
Yeah.
And my first time doing all the work.
Exciting.
And getting a
scary.
Yeah, it's
but
scary.
Like thrilling. Yeah.
Yeah, it was it was the first time for me because I was like, I've made med come before. Like that. I don't.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily that's not hard, but like it's
not that hard.
It's not that hard
for the most part. Unless they require something else or whatever, and that But yeah, I always am like, well, for bisexuals, like if you're worried about being good at sex, like if you've got a vagina, like you can make it happen with a penis 9 times out of 10, you know? But with another person with a vagina or a vulva or whatever, like we are told so many times that the female orgasm is so complicated. And like, I'm not somebody who likes to try, you know? So it's like you tell people something's complicated, like of course it's going to be more daunting, but is it also the thing where it's like the more effort, the more reward?
I think so.
Me too.
Yeah. I would feel so like, oh my God, I did it. Like to a woman?
Yep. Because like for me, like it's like I cannot come from manual stimulation. Like it's just not gonna happen. I can't. It's not gonna happen. I need a toy.
What do you use? Okay.
I use either my girl's best friend or my perfect match. Like
from Sweet Vibrations.
From Sweet Vibrations. Promo code. So those are like the 2 things I can like really do it because like I've tried. I have sat in my bed for a very long time and just like tried to go to town and like it just wouldn't happen.
Yeah. What about with the other women that you hooked up with? Like when you first started hooking up with them and they were more doing stuff with you, like was there a conversation about like a lack of experience? Like were they happy to do that and kind of guide you through?
Well, okay, so my first time with a woman, it was kind of a bad experience because after like I had told her that like, oh, this is like because like we had discussed like I don't have much experience, and she was just like, I don't really want to be your experiment, and I was just like, yeah, okay, well I'm very confident.
Well, calling it an experiment is different than your first time.
Yeah,
you know, because like that's kind of doubting whether you're even queer.
Yeah, exactly. You know? And it's like my first time wasn't that great of an experience after the fact because of what she said. But like I had that conversation with the second person that I had slept with where I was just like, look, it's gonna be hard. And she's like, oh, it'll be easier if you use a toy. And I was just like, yeah, but I didn't bring anything. You don't have anything right now, so that's not gonna happen. But I'm enjoying being here. Like that's just that's the fun part. Like
the kissing too. Like before you even try to give somebody an orgasm, like the touching. Yep. It's all the
so good. It's the fun stuff. Like orgasm for me is not the destination. It's the journey. You know, like that's sex is the journey, not a destination. Yeah. I don't know. It was fun.
I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
And it's so weird to be like top bottoming switch, like whatever, because like as much as I love categories, like I feel like kind of stifled by them sometimes because it's like we're already trying to figure out so many things about ourselves. Like but can I ask, like, do you enjoy giving as much as you enjoy receiving when it comes to women?
Equal. Yeah. Cool. Like it's just women. Women.
I love when women
do anything. She just breathes and I'm how great of you.
Also, you guys, speaking of I love when women, I learned that from TikTok. Abby is like one of our first companions that ever made a TikTok about how come.
I have tagged Remy in many things before on the TikTok.
it was like my name, my age, my favorite podcast or
Yep.
whatever. And I was like, we're in a trend.
Yeah.
I died.
Yeah, whenever I see something on my For You page that's like it's something about like a woman coming or whatever, or like struggling to come, I'm like, you should watch How Come. You should listen to How Come podcast or subscribe to the Patreon and watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when was it that you actually like came out? And I mean like to yourself, like
To
the
myself?
first time. Yeah. Because I think that's the most important come out is like in the head.
Okay, so like I've been kissing like girls ever since like I was like a little kid. Like I wasn't aware of like what it was, and then like I kind of just like I kind of like hid that in the back of my head for a very long time because like I grew up very Christian, and so like I was just like I was told that being gay is not really like a good thing, or not gay, being not straight is not a good thing.
Not straight.
Yes. And so for me, it was like I kind of like went through high school forcing myself not to look at the same gender. Like I was just like,
totally.
Okay, we're just
locker room's very difficult.
Yep. And it was like 2 years ago, because 2019 was 2 years ago. It was like right before the pandemic. I was like, I don't think I can keep lying to myself. I'm like fully aware of that. I'm
how I feel,
and I like said it out loud that like, okay, like I think I'm queer, and like looked more into it, and I was just like that fits me, because it's just like I was like, I'm definitely not a lesbian because I still find some men attractive. Yeah. But I still feel like that bisexuality is too rigid. Okay. Because for myself, like my gender identity is just somewhere in between. Like I was just like, so like I'm just like, I like everyone else that's in between also.
Hell yeah. But also a lot of like the Bisexual Manifesto includes non-binary people.
Yes. But I was just like,
I haven't read it. I talk like I have, but I haven't.
And I was just like, so I came out to myself, and then I kind of didn't really say much about it until, I don't know, like I was talking with my mom one day, and like I just said it. I was just like, I need to tell you something that I was scared of how she was going to react.
Of course.
And I was like, I need to tell you something. I think that I am queer, and I hope that doesn't upset you. I have always been, always will be, probably, unless my identity changes, because sexuality is fluid. I was like, unless anything, that's just where I am right now. And she was just like, okay. Still love you.
So nice.
Yeah. And that was so I came out to myself fully about 2.5 years ago, and that was about 2 years ago. It was about 6 months after I came out to myself.
Congrats.
Yeah.
So good. I love it. I'm so happy that she was good about it too.
Yeah. And it's just I don't know where I'd be right now if it wasn't for her, to be honest, because like she is supportive. I mean, we went to one of the craft stores around like June, when like Pride was going on, and she was just like, do you want the shirt? And it was just like, yeah,
I do want that shirt. Yeah.
I was just like, yes. Yes.
That's so sweet.
I'm very fortunate, because I know that not everyone has such a positive experience.
Totally, but I think it's really important to hear like the positive ones, because like mostly what we've heard, and I think a lot of why people are so afraid is because you hear the horrible stories and the kick out stories.
I mean, like I'm not out to my dad. Like
that's take your time.
I mean, he does not deserve to know. Like it's just like Yeah, that's a conversation for another day.
No, but also like there were an infographic that we shared today, and it was like happy coming out day to people who like have only come out to certain people, happy coming out day to people who've only come out to themselves, like who've only done it in small groups or whatever. Like I have come out so many times in my life, like in little pockets, and like, you know, like I did it like with an improv troupe once, like 6 years ago, that I was like, yeah, like I think I'm bi, and everyone's like, yeah, we think we're bi too, and I was like, okay, cool, this never leaves this table, like bye.
Yep.
And like for a long time I was like, oh, that doesn't feel valid because I'm still lying to people in my life, and I'm still not and it's like, is it lying or is it protecting yourself until you're ready?
Yeah, because if you're not safe to do it, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Yep.
You know, but also like anybody who's considering it, like it's nice to hear these stories because like it could just be fine. There have been so many times that I'm like, I don't want to tell so and so this or that, and then it was like, okay, you know, like oh, you were saying before how like you were like thinking because of what society said that it was like bad to be anything but straight.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this earlier today, actually. I have a lot of thoughts like coming back that I think I had repressed. And I remember, I think they taught us a lot more in sex ed about gay sex and stuff. And I had this thought that I like recall where I was like, but wait, if gay women are getting off so much, and they're having these great relationships, and it's more likely to do that with a woman than a man, then wouldn't all the women just date women, and then men will become obsolete, and then we won't have a society anymore? And I was like, okay, rational brain, we're straight for society. Like, to continue, like as if the world were running out of people and this was like a real problem.
That's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
There's too many people.
The 7.6 billion people. all of them are gay. Yeah.
Yeah, if all of them are gay and then we die out, it's like, okay, then there's a real problem. But like at this point, I'm like,
if anything, we should
population control, exactly. Or like encouraging people to adopt, if, you know, because there's so many little people here who aren't taken care of. Like, not that that's the gay agenda, but if it is, that's a very sweet agenda.
It should be part of the agenda, a little bit, like
the agenda.
Just a little bit.
I get wanting to make a baby. Go off, make a baby if you want to, but also consider taking in a baby.
If anything,
you don't have to grow the baby. I can catch up to my friends who started 4 years ago if I adopt a 4-year-old. Hello.
You skipped a few steps, but you got there. Was
there any part of you that was nervous hooking up like in a post-COVID way?
I'm fully vaccinated, and she's also fully vaccinated, and I'm also tested like
great
3 times a week because of work. So
yeah,
I'm very, very safe, very safe.
That's awesome.
Yes.
No, and I feel that's great. Do you feel that TikTok helped you come out a little more or like become more sure of yourself?
My For You page knew I was not straight in like an hour after I downloaded TikTok. I was like, wait a minute. Let's pump the brakes real quick.
I feel like that was like a theme throughout quarantine is like I would get progressively gayer and gayer videos, but also getting videos of people being like, isn't it so funny that a bunch of people went into the pandemic straight and then came out queer as fuck?
I would agree that our For You pages are pretty similar in that aspect.
I think so, yeah. I have found it like such a great community because there is such a wide range of what a queer person looks like on that app, and such a wide range of what I'm attracted to. And like, I just feel like every time I'm on, I'm like, yup.
Exactly.
Are you going to plan to see this woman again?
Hopefully within the next week or two. My schedule's been pretty busy, so it's just like, it's very casual. So just like,
Nice.
I'm really happy that it's that way. That it's not like we're seeing each other every single day. Like,
yeah,
that would be a little a little too much for me in my little pea brain.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully within the next week or two.
Dipping the toes.
Dipping the toes, taking
Dipping the
it
toys
slow
too.
and, not necessarily taking it slow, but not doing the serious thing right now.
Yeah.
We've made that very clear that it's just like this is like a fun gay hangout. We're just doing the
That's
thing or
so
two.
Love it.
Yep.
Whee!
Ah,
Congrats.
Thank you.
Abby, I do have to ask you, did you finish here
I
on
did.
How Come?
I did finish. Thank you for asking.
Oh, look at
Of course.
Did you finish?
I did. Thank you so much.
I'm sorry. Wait. Did you just finish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Abby, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And I'll see you on the internet.
Tag you on a thing or two.
Bye.
Bye.
It's not you, it's me. I try so hard to finish honestly. They say you'll know when you go all the way from A right down to O. Oh no, I think that I've still got a ways to go. Oh, I'm sick of this and I have got to know. How come I can't achieve? How come I can't achieve? I'm rolling up my sleeves. Oh baby, I believe these guests can help, 'cause I can't do it by myself.